Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into some seriously cool history today. The Gallic Revolt, led by Vercingetorix, against, well, Julius Caesar.
It's one for the history books, for sure.
You guys sent in some really great stuff about this, so we're gonna try to extract the coolest, the most interesting insights and
Absolutely.
present them to you today. So picture this. We're going back to 52 BC in Gaul.
Ancient France,
Yeah.
basically.
And the Gauls are not super happy about being under Roman rule,
Yeah.
which, I can't really blame them. So we've got
But-
brave warriors, cunning strategies, and a whole lot of fighting for freedom. It's pretty epic stuff.
Yeah, it's a great story.
So to really understand Vercingetorix's rebellion, I guess we have to kind of step back a bit and look at the bigger picture. Like what was going on in Gaul before he came along?
Well, so the thing is, Rome had been expanding its power in Gaul for quite a while, decades actually, and they were really good at it.
Oh, yeah.
They had this whole divide and conquer strategy down pat. Yeah, they'd pit different tribes against each other, weaken them, and then swoop in and take control. It was pretty effective, but it also created a lot of resentment,
So it's kind of like they were poking the bear a little bit
Oh, yeah, big time.
until it finally roared.
Exactly.
And so then there was this guy, Ambiorix,
Oh, yeah, Ambiorix.
right? And he led a revolt a few years before Vercingetorix.
That's right.
And that kind of showed everyone that Rome wasn't invincible.
Yeah, it was like a preview,
Yeah.
sneak peek.
Yeah, a sneak peek of what was to come.
So then, boom, enter Vercingetorix.
Yeah, he makes a grand entrance.
This guy was not messing around.
Yeah.
Like, his own dad had been killed for trying to unite the tribes.
Mhm.
And so Vercingetorix was like, hold my beer.
Like, I'm going to finish what he started.
Yeah. But he knew he couldn't do it alone.
No way.
The Romans were strong.
Yeah.
So what did he do? He decided to unite the tribes.
Yeah, he was like the ultimate unifier.
He was the OG Gallic unifier.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how did he manage to, pull that off? Like, were the tribes just like, yeah, sure, we'll all get along now?
Well, I mean, it wasn't exactly a walk in the park.
Right.
For Vercingetorix, he had this charisma, He could
Yeah.
really rally people. He was a powerful speaker. He also came from this really influential tribe, the Arverni.
Okay.
So he had that going for him. But the real turning point was the attack on Sabium.
Ah, yes, Sabium. Yeah. That was a Roman settlement, right?
Exactly, modern-day Orleans.
Okay, so what happened there?
Well, Vercingetorix and his forces, they basically launched this surprise attack, killed Roman merchants, Roman officials, and they even destroyed Roman religious statues.
Oh, that's some serious business.
Yeah, it was a huge statement. It wasn't just about taking resources or anything like that. It was about showing the Romans and the Gauls that this was a serious rebellion.
It's a big power move.
Yeah, for sure. It really got people's attention.
Okay, so Vercingetorix unites the tribes, attacks Sabium, and basically says, game on, Romans.
Pretty much, yeah.
But how do you fight an empire like Rome?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Vercingetorix knew that he couldn't win in a straight-up fight. The Roman legions were just too powerful, so he had to be strategic. He had to be smart. And that's where his scorched earth policy comes in.
Scorched earth.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me more about that.
Okay, so imagine this. You're a Roman legion marching through Gaul. You're expecting to find food, supplies, places to rest. But everything is gone. The crops have been burned, the villages are abandoned, the wells are poisoned. There's nothing left for you.
Brutal.
It was a desperate measure, for sure, but it was also a really clever one. It forced the Romans to rely on their own supply lines, which were already stretched thin.
Okay, so it's kind of like that old saying, live off the land.
Yeah, in reverse.
Yeah, in reverse, yeah.
Yeah, like deny the enemy the ability to live off the land.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, and it actually worked for a while. The victory at Gergovia was a huge boost for the Gauls. They managed to inflict heavy losses on Caesar's legions, and it really made Vercingetorix look like a hero.
Yeah. But, we're talking about Julius Caesar here.
Right.
This guy was like the ultimate strategist.
Oh, absolutely. He wasn't just going to sit back and take it.
Oh.
He adapted, he brought in reinforcements, he even hired Germanic mercenaries.
Germanic mercenaries.
Yeah.
Wow. That's playing with fire a little bit.
It was a risky move, for
Yeah.
sure. But Caesar, he was a master of turning things to his advantage. He knew that the Germanic tribes were fierce warriors, and he was willing to use them to crush the rebellion.
Okay, so it's kind of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly.
But even with all of Vercingetorix's brilliance and all of his strategies, there had to be a turning point, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Gauls, That turning point came at the Siege of Avaricum.
Okay, so Avaricum was a pretty important city for the Gauls, right?
It was. It was a major stronghold.
So what happened? How did the Romans manage to take it?
Well, the Gauls put up a really good fight. I mean, they fortified the city. They were determined to hold it. But Caesar, he was relentless. His forces besieged the city, and they just kept pounding away at it. And then there was this crazy thunderstorm.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the Romans, they saw an opportunity. They used the cover of the storm to launch a surprise attack, and they managed to break through the defenses.
So yeah, a thunderstorm, of all things.
Yeah, sometimes luck plays a role.
It was a pretty devastating loss for the Gauls, right?
It was. It was a major turning point in the war.
I bet morale was pretty low after that.
Yeah, it would be understandable.
But for Vercingetorix, he didn't give up, did he?
No, not at all. He was incredible.
Yeah.
He rallied his troops. He reminded them what they were fighting for. He gave this amazing speech after Avaricum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was all about courage and resilience and the importance of never giving up hope.
He sounded like a pretty inspiring dude.
Oh, he totally was. He was a true leader. Even in the face of defeat, he managed to keep the Gallic alliance together.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it really is.
So while Vercingetorix is trying to, keep the fires of rebellion burning, what's Caesar up to?
Well, Caesar was busy playing the long game. He realized that military strength wasn't enough. He needed to undermine the Gallic alliance from within, so he started using a combination of force and diplomacy.
Force and diplomacy, so like the carrot and the stick approach.
Exactly. He'd crush smaller tribes to spread fear, but then he'd also offer alliances and concessions to others.
A lever.
Yeah, he was very good at playing the political game.
So in the end, we have Vercingetorix, this charismatic warrior who manages to unite the Gallic tribes against all odds.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Caesar, this brilliant strategist who just refuses to back down.
Yeah, it's a clash of titans.
It's a story of bravery, ingenuity, and unfortunately, the brutal realities of ancient warfare.
And it leaves us with a really interesting question. Was Vercingetorix's rebellion doomed from the start? I mean, Caesar did eventually win, right?
Yeah.
But did Vercingetorix's actions pave the way for future resistance? Did he inspire generations of Gauls to keep fighting for their freedom?
Those are some great questions.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder about the impact that one person can have on history and how, even in defeat, their actions can inspire others to keep fighting for what they believe in.
Exactly.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but the story of Vercingetorix and the Gallic Revolt doesn't end here. There's so much more to explore, so keep reading, keep researching, and keep those questions coming. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.